Okay, so we're back. All right, so let's talk about this. Uh, Home self-defense. I know a lot of people that get a lot of guns for home self-defense. They get a lot of firearms for home self-defense. Now, thing about home self-defense, a lot of these new houses are not built the way that the old houses was. So your walls are made of drywall, and your outside wall is more than likely made of plywood and stuff like that, right? So a lot of people that I know that choose home self-defense weapons go overboard. What they do is they're using something that's shooting a 5.56 or a 2.23, and if they really silly, they're going 308s. Now, problem with that is those are uh, high velocity rounds. Those high velocity rounds could actually go when you're defending yourself. It can actually go through your intruder, through your walls, into your neighbor's wall. And so you think you're defending yourself when you're also giving someone else a problem, because who wants to wake up to bullets coming through their walls? Huh? You got to think about stuff like that. Now, understandably, when you're defending yourself in your home, you want to be able to make sure that you're able to stand your ground and maintain your position, defend your territory, which is understandable. The thing about that is you don't always have to go to firearms for that. And not only do you always have to go to firearms, you don't have to go to a lethal option to stop an intruder. That's why I print the rounds that I print for the T4E TPM1, whereas that shoots riot rounds, rubber riot rounds. Now, the problem that I have with rubber riot rounds is rubber bounces. You shoot, you miss, you may hit a hard surface, it bounces, ricochet. You may hit yourself. Not even thinking. Now, my printed rounds don't bounce. They impact, and if they impact soft material, they penetrate. They impact hard material, they disintegrate. So therefore, you don't have to worry about ricochet and stuff like that. Now, you also have another airsoft, or not airsoft, but another air option. Now, I believe Umarex does. Now the T4E, that is a 43 caliber training weapon, training for engagement, T4E. Okay, so that is a representation of a Glock 17. Shooting at around about 400 feet per second. Now we have the AK-1 made by Crosman. That is a .177 caliber bullet, or you could say, a 4.5 millimeter projectile, steel projectile, shooting at around about 430 feet per second. Now, what I just showed you was the penetration of said gun through 2 layers of fabric, 2 layers of paper towels, 2 layers of plastic into flesh. And then we saw the penetration of such. Now, the 2 layers of fabric was meant to represent clothing, such as denim. Maybe they may come in, I don't know, it may be hot and they come in the summertime. They got a t-shirt on. Or they may be cold and they come in your house and they may have a jacket on. So you're trying to simulate those type of situations and whatnot. So, and of course, when we talk about an air option, we also have to think about temperature. Now, when you shoot in hotter temperatures, your velocity actually goes up. When you shoot in colder temperatures, the velocity of your gun actually goes down. So you have to keep that in perspective. But we're not running and chasing no one outside. We're talking about inside your house, a controlled environment where the air is actually controlled. Now, when you go with the air option, that depends on when you're shooting these 4.5 millimeter BBs. That depends on where you're trying to hit the person. Now, a lot of people, we're talking about in your house, right? So this is why I'm talking about not using a 223 or 5.56. Now, if you want to go firearms, I would say use subsonic. Like when you're using a 9mm round, I wouldn't recommend using supersonic ammo, because supersonic travels faster than the speed of sound, which actually could penetrate the person and go through that person as well. Now you got to worry about, like, who's on the other side of the wall. Is the kids on the other side of the wall? Huh? Think about that. Now you're not talking about the neighbors. Now you're talking about something that's closer to home. You may hit the person and go through the person and hit the kids. Where is the kids? We're talking about situational awareness. Now, when someone's coming into your house, it's at nighttime more than likely. You just woke up out your sleep. You're not very aware of your surroundings. You're a little bit dazed and stuff like that. So you're not thinking about where the kids and stuff like that. You're thinking about, oh, it's an intruder. I have to protect my house. We're not trying to get that afterthought after you hit that person. Where's the kids? And then you go find out that the kids is laid out too, or your neighbor is laid out too. We're trying to be responsible people, right? Now, when you go and you use this 4.5 millimeter option, now we're talking about where you shooting at the person. 9 times out of 10, we don't have a lot of snipers out here. I mean, we got people that go out here and hunt and whatnot, but they're not waking up out their sleep hunting something. What they're doing is actually they're asleep. They're actually up and aware of their surroundings. Cool, calm thinking, not in a stressful situation. They already have their self in their position. They're waiting for their shot. Now, when you wake up to an intruder, that's not the situation or the scenario that you're in. You're dazed, you're confused, you're in panic, you're trying to figure out what's going on, you're trying to assess all this information in a fraction of a second so you can understand what you need to do. Now, 9 times out of 10, people aren't shooting far distances. That's why I tell you, you don't need a 5.56 or a 223. You're talking about something that's going to be roughly 7.4 yards away. Think about it. How far away, how far down the hall, when you're at the top of your steps, is the bottom of your steps? Okay, how about this? When you're at your landing, the bottom landing of your steps, how far away is the wall from the steps? The opposite wall. Now, when you go cat a corner, how far away is the corner from that step? It's roughly around about 7.4 yards away, somewhere around that. So we're talking about close quarters, right? Let's think about this logically. So now, you're going, let's say you think about and you go with the 4.5 millimeter. Now, when we check out the information of air guns, something that's shooting over 400 feet per second is automatically penetrating flesh. If you don't believe me, I don't feel like actually putting up the information, bro. It's free on Google. Just Google it yourself. But then I have shown you through video penetration of that round, that 4.5 millimeter round. We're talking about on a used cartridge, we're talking about at least an inch, a little bit over an inch of penetration. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to have nothing penetrate me over an inch. Huh? Now, penetration over an inch on a used cartridge, that's roughly somewhere stuck, when you're shooting center mass, that's somewhere stuck in the meat of the rib cage. Now, on a full cartridge, a fresh cartridge, we saw that it actually penetrated through the rump roast. Now, the rump roast that we had was actually 5 inches deep. It's 5 inches thick. So we're talking about penetration up to 5 inches. Now, when you think about that, now you're talking about you're hitting lungs. If it doesn't ricochet off of rib bones, you're hitting lungs. Stuff like that. Now, I will come back with another video. The next video that I will have will be shooting a piece of meat with a piece of bone in it to see the actual damage to the meat and the bone. Now, we don't have, like I said, we don't have a lot of snipers here, and we're not really the type of people to do that headshot thing. And I wouldn't suggest that you, when you're defending your home, that you go for headshots. For one, a headshot is a smaller target. At night, in dim lit situation, you got a higher chance of missing. Now, understand this. When you go 4.5 millimeter BB option, you don't want to miss on your first shot. You don't want to let that person know that you just hit them with a BB. Understand that part. Like, you let them know that you miss. You let them know that you hit them with a BB and they have a firearm. They are going to advance on you regardless of what you do. Huh? Think about that. Now, so you want to try to go for center mass because you want your hit, your first shot to be an impression, leave a lasting impression. 9 times out of 10, when you hit the person the first time, unless they've been shot before, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna believe that they were shot with a firearm. They're gonna feel that. They're gonna feel that 4.5 millimeter. They're gonna feel the penetration. They're gonna feel that. They're gonna drop. They're gonna drop, or they're gonna stop doing whatever they was going to do, whatever they was doing, to understand where that came from and what they need to do next. More than likely, the next option is to either return fire and flee, or just flee. Huh? Now, when we talk about the Crosman AK-1, when we talk about the Crosman Bushmaster R1, when we talk about the Crosman Deep Panther DPMS SBR, when we talk about the Crosman, now when I said the Crosman Bushmaster, that's one by itself, and then the R1, that's another gun by itself. Now when we talk about the Crosman AP A4P pistol, we're talking about something that has 25 rounds in the mag with the option of semi-automatic fire and fully automatic fire. Now, depending on what mag you have, it's going to be 25. Or if you got the K.M.R mag, you got 300. Huh? Yeah. 300. Now, you could choose to shoot single fire, but I'm the type of person, when I tell you get out my house, bro, I don't tell you with words. I tell you what, actions. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm a very, very respectful person. I try to live peaceably with all men. And I'm not the type of person to want to hurt, harm, or permanently injure someone. I don't care if you are in my house. Like, unless you killing someone in my house, that's the only time I'm trying to put you down forever. But unless you just came in my house to just get something, and I need you to leave, like, I'm gonna make you leave, but I'm gonna make you leave painfully. Best believe that. So, I'm gonna send all 25 or all 300 of these jumps at you. I'm not sending one shot at a time. This joint I'm gonna put this joint on fully automatic. Send a mass. 25 to 300 rounds hitting you. Now this joint and the aforementioned guns that I did speak about, they can let go 1,400 rounds in 1 minute. Yeah. Let that sit in for a second. This gun has the ability of sending 1,400 rounds downrange in 1 minute, 60 seconds. Bro, I don't care what you got on, unless you came in my house with body armor, fully prepared, ready to go to war. Bro, you leaving out my house as quickly as possible. Whatever you had in your hands, you didn't drop that jump. Best believe that jump. Best believe that. You're not thinking about nothing else but getting out that house and hoping to God that I didn't call the police before I let go them 25 to 300 rounds. Because when you run outside, you might run into the police as well. And now, you already hurt. You're already confused and thinking because I didn't hit you with all these jumps. I'm not playing whatsoever. And I'm just talking about BB option. I didn't even go to the 6 Sawyer AR-15. They're shooting another 1.177 round at you. But that is a pellet shooting down a rifled barrel, shooting at way more velocity. Now those pellets, depending on what pellet he hit you with, could be a hollow point, could be a penetrator round, high velocity, maximum. The grains on those actually change, so that actually causes way more damage, and that is not a less lethal option. That is 100% a lethal option, 100%. Me myself, I've hit deer with a 0.177 pellet and put him down. Wasn't even trying. Huh? So we're talking about stuff like this. Anything over 400 feet per second is penetrating flesh. Now, how many feet per second over 400 feet per second is telling you how deep in that flesh is penetrating. We're not hitting people in the face. Reason why you're not hitting people in face, all facial bone, except for around here in the nose, is highly reinforced. Most of your hardest bones is in your face, like your forehead, stuff like that. So we talk about actually trying to maintain your house, the safety of your house. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a firearm in your house. What I'm saying is you need to expand your options. Not everyone needs to die. Not everyone is coming in your house to hurt you. And not everyone chose to actually be that way, to come into your house. I know a lot of people that have done a lot of bad things in their life, like break into people's houses and stuff. But it was only by necessity, because they was trying to get something that they needed. You see what I'm saying? Like, I know kids that's done that because their fathers or stepfathers wasn't doing correctly, wasn't holding down the house. And so in order to stop their moms from crying, they had to make you be sad a little bit. So they never meant you any type of harm whatsoever. But the only way to get to your money is to come into your house while you're there. They don't mean to confront you, but you just woke up. And they was just not as stealthy as possible. So not everybody needs to die. You don't have to end everyone's life. But hey, if you come in my house and I stop you, or you come in my house and I give you all 25 or all 300 of these jumps, bro, and you able to live to see another day, to learn from your mistakes, to go and one day grow up, to get out of that dumb mentality, to learn to be a better person, a better man, to see another young person that may be going down the same path that person went down, and now because somebody gave you a pass, you was able to grow up, change your mentality, because not all people are bad people. See, let me tell you something else. How do you make a bad person good? You don't disengage from that bad person. You just remain a good person yourself. And you stick with that bad person. You just don't do what the bad person does. You maintain who you are. And eventually, that bad person will see that you're a good person and will start to learn your ways. Huh? Two people can't walk together without one person rubbing off on the other. You understand? So how do you make a bad person good? You keep that person around a good person. You don't disengage. You stay with that person. You always work on that person. I don't care how much problems that person gave you, because no one was born good. We all was born in sin. We all was born not knowing the correct way to do things. We all made mistakes. My thing is, it's not everyone has to die. Let people learn from their mistakes so they can grow older to teach the young. Because 9 times out of 10, that person that went in your house, it didn't have that correct upbringing or that correct role model to show them the better way to get to that joint, to get to money, to get to anything, just to help them change their situation. It's that part. Now, back to these airguns, right? Now, they got airguns that by Umarex also. These airguns that's by Umarex, I told you, one is a representation of a Glock 17. That's a T4E. Now, you don't like T4E? Then you go for the different letterings, the HD. The HD series stands for home defense. It's made specifically for these type scenarios. They have two double-barrel shotgun. They have a revolver. The double-barrel shotgun, I believe, is a 64 caliber, and the revolver is a 50 caliber. Shooting a rubber ball. Now, I do make plastic rounds for those as well. Now those can actually do some damage, but they're made for home defense. Now they also have pepper powder rounds that these guns can shoot, and you can also put in the clip multiple different rounds. Your first two rounds could be a rubber. Your second two rounds could be the plastic ones. Your next two rounds could be pepper. It depends on what you want to do. So there's multiple options. Then we can step the game up. Now, some of y'all like, look, somebody come in my house, I don't care what they do. I'm trying to put him down and make sure he stay down. Now, this is for my people that have problems with drinking, have domestic violence charges, that are and other situations going on in their lives that prevent them from owning firearms. But your First Amendment right, I'm sorry, not your First Amendment, your Second Amendment right is the right to bear arms. Now, the reason why, and it also says that your right to bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, the reason why banning people like that or felons from having a firearm is not infringing on your right to bear arms is because on each of these air guns it says it is not a toy. This is a weapon. You don't believe me? Okay. No, I'm not going to suggest that. Anyway, it's not a toy. Now, they do have other options, such as the Texan. The Texan shoots a .45 caliber slug out of an air rifle, not a firearm. This .45 caliber slug is used to hunt boar. Now, boar skin is way thicker than human skin. Some things that'll penetrate a human will bounce off a boar. Then you also got the bay wolf. The bay wolf shoots a .308 slug. Yes, I said it, a .308 slug, bro. With an air tank. Huh? Now you gotta think about this. You shoot a .45 caliber slug out of an air gun, or you shoot a .308 out of an air gun, bro. You don't need that many shots, especially when you're hitting center mass, bro. You need to hit the dude one time. That's it. They're going down. That's it. But the thing about that is, it's not going to end up in the neighbor's house. That's the thing about that. Now, we got some assholes out there. I apologize for cussing. we got some people out there that say, bro, I'm not worried about the neighbor. You should be. Because by protecting your house, you could end up in prison. Manslaughter. Yeah, bro, if you think that you're not going to get that charge, bro, you better think again. You don't even want to test that theory. You just want to be able to protect your house and make sure that everyone else is safe. I say people like this, bro, acquire your target, hit your target, and nothing else. Huh? That's what we're on. Also, another thing we got to think about. When you do get these type of things, or any type of instrument that can fire a projectile or send a projectile in a direction with a considerable amount of force, you always want to think about those types of situations, bro. You always want to think about those types of situations. And you also want to think about this. Shooting is a perishable skill. What that mean? That means this. If you're an older cat, right? And in the year 2005 or 2010, like, you was a marksman, an eagle eye, an expert when you went to the gun range. You was tearing that thing up. You hitting the bullseye every single time. Shooting is a perishable skill, bro. So the last time you shot, it was 2010. And what year are we in right now? 2021. Bro, it's no way possible for you to be the same shot that you was in 2010 and 2021 if you wasn't shooting constantly that whole time. That means your hand to eye coordination is off because it's a learned skill. You didn't need that hand to eye coordination in order to live, so your brain forgets it. That's the thing you got to think about right there. So when you have these things, and you have these things for home self-defense, bro, you need to hit that gun range, or you need to make some type of range so that you can continue to stay on target. And when I say you continue to stay on target, this is something that you need to do twice a week. If not twice a week, every 2 weeks, you need to be putting your hand around this instrument and pulling that trigger to make sure that you're on target. Let's be responsible, let's be respectable, and let's be safe. Learn your muzzle discipline. Don't flag people. Learn how to keep this in the right direction. Also, we have to exercise good judgment, bro. We have to be aware of our surroundings, situational awareness. We have to also know that the person that we hitting is not one of the kids in the dark just going downstairs to the kitchen trying to get something to eat. You can't be a scary type person. You can't be easily rattled when you use something like these. If you are a scary type person or easily rattled person, automatically I'm going to tell you right now, this is not for you. This is not a system that you should try. You need to go get you a mace can gun or something like that. That's what you need to do. Or if you do go for the T4E or the HD series by Umarex, you should only get the dried pepper ball rounds. But understand, when you use dried pepper ball rounds in a closed environment, bro, that person is not going to be the only person experiencing the effects of that.